Hello and welcome back to the Horse Racing Network with me, Izzy Phillips, and I'm joined as always by racing broadcaster and journalist Paul Auster. Paul, how are you doing?
I'm very well, and I am looking forward to the coming weekend because I think it's going to be some good racing at
I
the Curragh
know.
Saturday, Sunday.
We've got the band back together from last week and we're going to be taking a look ahead to the Irish 1000 and 2000 Guineas. Starting with the latter, the 2000 Guineas looks to be a really, really exciting race, Paul. We've got the likes of, you've got a Juddmonte trio galore. You've got, obviously, near the top of the market, Field of Gold, Cosmic Year. In there as well, we've got one of your picks from our horses to follow. We've got Expanded. Where does your eye go immediately in this race?
Well, it's hard to look initially beyond the favourite, I think, is he, because Field of Gold probably slightly unlucky in the 2000 Guineas. It's a matter of opinion. There are those that feel it was beaten on merit because it didn't quicken as well as the winner going down into the dip. But I'm sure you'll have a view on whether or not Kieran Schumacher should have been replaced. But there's a change of jockey on board now, isn't it? So we'll see what sort of a difference that makes.
Yeah, well, you've got that big bit of news that Colin Keane is going to be booked to ride Field of Gold. Still no jockey on Cosmic Year. Cosmic Year is the one I quite like. I mean, I have got some opinions on the Kieran Schumacher situation. I think that obviously so has everyone, but the most important person that obviously had that opinion was John Gosden, who felt that obviously it was frustrating enough to feel that Kieran Schumacher shouldn't ride the horse, and that's why we've got that change. I think everybody has bad days and maybe more forgiving, but that's where we are. I like Cosmic Year. I think that Cosmic Year was really, really impressive. That was at Newmarket the other day. Obviously, that is over 7 furlongs,
And lower
whereas
grade.
and lower grade, but very impressive, I felt. So Field of Gold is obviously kind of the more proven horse in the field. As long as he doesn't hit that kind of, obviously it was to do with the dip at Newmarket, but as long as he doesn't
Yeah.
hit that kind of flat spot again, you've obviously got to give him a fantastic chance. I think he's short enough now, though, that because he's not quite performed, you know, like you say, yes, Cosmic Year, lower grade race, but you don't know how they're going to step up. And I was taken enough that I think he's quite a nice price. Currently, you can get sort of best odds around 9-2.
Hmm.
That's bad.
Well, I do feel that he's the favourite is probably a very good horse, Field of Gold. The way he won the Craven was terrific. Um, and maybe an unlucky loser at Newmarket in the 2000 Guineas. So he's definitely the one they all have to beat because he's done the best figures. He's the highest quality horse we've seen so far this year. Cosmic Year, as you've said, unbeaten. Who knows how good it is? I mean, it could continue to improve and improve. And as we said before coming on there, the Juddmonte have got 3 horses, but they're all with different trainers. So all of them will want to have a crack at the prize. Whether or not they're allowed to run all 3 remains to be seen. The third one, by the way, is an outsider called Win Lord, trained by Andrew Balding, and that one was second to Swagman in the classic trial, the Group 3 classic trial at Sandown 4 weeks ago, but that was over a mile and a quarter. I'm not quite so sure whether or not he'll be quick enough at the mile. But if you've been to the Curragh, it's a very stiff mile. They climb all the way from the 3 furlongs, gradually rising up to the finishing line. So you do need a horse that will stay, especially if there are a few pacemakers in the field. Aidan O'Brien may throw one in. And so it's going to be a really genuine test, I think, of stamina. I don't think they'll be messing about.
Well, one that could certainly end up setting the pace a little bit and going off almost like a little bit of a rocket could be Rashabar. Rashabar actually ended up setting the course record or a furlong record at some point during the Coventry Stakes and was one of the fastest horses to run at Royal Ascot last year. He then has obviously come out and been second to another Juddmonte horse in Jonquil, who was second over a mile at Longchamp the other day. So he's a bit of an interesting runner as well, and has some form with some other good horses.
Well, I'm glad you've mentioned that horse because actually he's the one that I am as interested in as my horse from the 10 to follow, the 5 to follow we did each.
Yes.
Expanded. I think Expanded is going to improve a lot on what he did at Newmarket. He probably wasn't quite ready, but at the moment they're talking about Aidan's other horse, Officer, as the likely first string for Ballydoyle, although he's got a bit to find on form. But what I would say about Rashabar is that, as you pointed out, he produced a terrific time at Ascot last season when he won the Coventry. And unlike many of the horses in the field, the vast majority of them, he is a horse who is proven on fast ground. And at the moment, they're expecting the going at the Curragh to be good to firm in places. And if the rain doesn't come, it'll be proper good to firm ground. And the way that Rashabar stayed on to be second to John Keel, who's subsequently been second in the French 2,000 guineas, suggested to me he's worth a chance at a mile, especially if it's on quick ground. There'll be less of a test on pure stamina, and he could be a really decent each way option for those that are looking to try and play at a decent price in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Best odds 20 to 1 at the moment for Rashabar. Right. A firm selection in the 2,000, Paul, if I could push you, or not?
Well, I think that depending obviously on the final field, if Expanded runs, I still think he's going to go well. We mustn't forget as well Hot as Hell, who could be very, very good. He's only been
Yes.
beaten once in his last 5. That was by Henry Matisse last August. But if Expanded doesn't run, I'd be going with Rashabar to spring a surprise.
Oh, love it. Well, I think I agree with you on Rashabar at an each way. Hopefully this field doesn't thin out too much and you get a reasonable each way terms. And I'll probably take a chance with Cosmic Year. So there we go. Right, that means it's time for us to move on to the 1,000 guineas. Time for the girls. So we've got the Irish 2,000 guineas up next. That is on Sunday at 3:40, Paul. In here, we've got Lake Victoria, the other half of that English 1,000 guineas head-to-head that we were supposedly going to have between Desert Flower and Lake Victoria. You've also got in here Swelter for Dermot Round. You've got a couple for Ollie Sangster with Flight and Simmering. He's still unsure which filly is going to represent him. Obviously, we'll find out when the decks come out in a couple of days' time. And a big one here, a late entry, is for Donica O'Brien's at Sealer as well. So a few kind of changes, a little bit of news here in this race. Who did your eye go to first?
Well, so I suppose you have to start at the top. And I think although she was beaten into 6th in the 1,000 guineas, Lake Victoria didn't run a bad race, did she? You know, she just looked a little bit short of peak fitness, which so many of Aidan's do come on for a run. And when you look at what she did last season, you know, she was absolutely outstanding, winning the Cheveley Park Stakes and then winning the Breeders' Cup. I mean, this is a very, very smart filly, and you wouldn't want to write her off on the basis of one run. But as you know, Izzy, I don't like to back favourites, even though I think if I had to have one running for my life, I'd probably stick with Lake Victoria. You've mentioned Swelter, 2 from 2 and progressing. You've got the 2 of Ollie Sangsters that both ran out of their skins at Newmarket. Personally, I'm not sure they'd reproduce it on Sunday. I don't know what you think about that, but they ran well, but I'd fancy Aidan's filly, Lake Victoria, to finish in front of the 2 Ollie Sangster fillies. What do you think about those before we look further down the list?
I was really taken by the performance of Flight. I thought she was really impressive. I'm going back to what you said about, you know, obviously proven form on the ground. It does look like it's going to be good to firm. It was good to firm in that Guineas. I would think that they can probably. Simmering less likely because she's been a little bit more inconsistent where she's finished in her races. But if you actually look at Flight, it's never been out the first 3 in quite a few runs now. So I'd like her to stay consistent. I don't think she's an inconsistent type. I think she could definitely run well and maybe almost bolster what she did in the British 1,000 Guineas. Don't know
Yeah,
if you
well, the
need to
British Challenge,
precursor it with that.
the Newmarket 1,000 guineas, that we've only got one trainer, a British trainer, represented here, haven't we? Only Ollie Sangster, as far as I can see, he's going to travel over and have a crack at the Irish with his two fillies. If he runs them both, I don't know. He still hasn't decided at the time of us recording this piece. But you highlighted the fact that Donica O'Brien has supplemented at Sealer, who beats Seaney, who also is a likely runner for Joseph Murphy, in a Group 3 at the Curragh a couple of weeks ago, the Athasi Stakes. And that I think is very interesting. But I think the most interesting filly in the whole field is the once raised filly of Paddy Toomey's called City of Memphis.
Oh.
And yeah, I really do think she's interesting. She won a Little Court Maiden on debut just on what was it, the 6th of May. She absolutely hacked up over 6 furlongs. She's got to go a mile, but she's bred to improve over this trip. And for me, Paddy Toomey is as good a trainer as Phyllis as there is in Ireland and probably anywhere. He's absolutely red hot. And I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised to see City of Memphis go very well indeed. She cost €370,000. Um, the dam has produced winners at a mile and a half and a mile and a quarter in good company. So I think she's going to get better as she steps up in trip. And so my initial thought at this stage is that if there's any sort of interest around City of Memphis, then it could be one that sees Paddy Toomey have a big shout in this race.
Well, I think if you were to push me for a selection, I am going to stick with Flight. I personally can't be siding with Lake Victoria after that performance. I ate my words when I did this before, and Blue City of Troy's poor Guineas performance. But I'm gonna do the same. It's like history is gonna end up repeating itself. I am gonna do the same here. I'm gonna say that I think that I am concerned about that 1,000 Guineas performance by Lake Victoria, and I'm gonna go with the eye catcher in the race for me, which was Flight. So we'll see how we get on, Paul. I think we've got some good selections there for the 2,000 and the 1,000 Guineas. Obviously, it's pre-dex, so hopefully they will make it through to the final stages and get their run. But thank you so much for joining us today, and don't forget to like and subscribe.